Hi, welcome to Learning Monkey. I am Raghuveer. In this class we will discuss about training a multi-layered perceptron. In our last classes we already discussed about single perceptron, how to train a single perceptron, and we discussed about a multi-layer perceptron. So for better understanding of this class, please watch our previous classes and come back here. The link for the playlist is provided in the description below. Coming to today's class, before going into the concept of how to train a multi-layer perceptron, first refresh the concept of how to train a single perceptron. The example which we considered in our last class, the same example we will consider here. Let's take this example. In our example, we are having 4 inputs, x1, x2, x3 and x4, and y is the output. This is our data set. We are, for simplicity, we are taking only 2 data points. We will have some thousands of data points. These are the input columns, these 4 are the input columns and this is the output column. This is our single perceptron. So what we are doing here is we are assigning some weights here. W1, W2, W3, W4 and W0 is the bias term. So we are giving randomly selecting some weights and take the first input data point and feed forward into our single perceptron. Forwarding means input forwarding. What's happening when we do the input forwarding? These weights are multiplied with the x1, w1 x1, w2 x2, w3 x3, w4 x4 plus w0 into 1. That is what happening here. w1 x1 plus w2 x2 plus w3 x3 plus w4 x4 plus w0. So z is equal to this value, we are calling it as z. And this z is given as an input to the activation function. F we call it as activation function. We not yet discussed about what's different types of activation functions, what's the use of this activation function. In our coming classes we will discuss about what's the use of activation function. There you will understand the complexity of the performance of neural network will be understand when we discuss about the activation function. So f of z given as z is given as input to the activation function. The output which we got from f of z value, we consider it as output, and this output we call it as y hat. Now we will apply the loss function. L is equal to y minus y hat whole square, means this is a regression model, that's why we are applying mean squared error loss. L is equal to y minus y hat whole square. So we are doing here back propagation, means with respect to the loss we are adjusting our w values. So we are updating our w values with respect to the loss. So for that we are using stochastic gradient descent. What's the equations for stochastic gradient descent? Take the first data point, update the w's. Take the second data point, update the w's. Take the third data point, update the w's. Like that till how long we have to do it? Till convergence. So that is what we are doing here in stochastic gradient descent. The updation we call it as back propagation. So what's the equation? W1 new is equal to W1 old. What is the old value? Initially we will consider some random values. After that the updated value will be taken as the new value, old value, W1 old minus alpha dou L by dou W1. What is this? Dou L by dou W1. Loss with respect to W1. That is what we are calculating here. How loss is changing with respect to change in W1. That is what we are doing here. Differentiate, partial differentiate with respect to loss. Loss with respect to W1. Okay, all these concepts were clearly discussed in our previous class. The basics for this differentiation and all these concepts were discussed in our machine learning first 13 classes. So if you haven't watched those classes, please watch those classes and come back here. That is very important to understand machine learning and deep learning also. Coming to our today's class, what is multi-layered perceptron? We already discussed the terminology of multi-layered perceptron in our last class. So this is an example multi-layered perceptron which we are considering here. For simplicity purpose, x1, x2, x3, x4 are input layers. These are hidden layers. This is the output layer. And we discussed that these inputs are given to this perceptron and this perceptron. For to avoid confusion, these inputs are not linked to these 2 perceptrons. We have to give x1 to f1 to x2 to this perceptron, x3 to this perceptron. We have to join that. We, for avoiding confusion, we are not joining here. We have to do that. Okay, don't forget that. So, and we will assign the weights here. How we give the weight? This weight we call it as W111, means it is going to first layer from first input to first perceptron. That is how the terminology is. So the same thing like single neuron, single perceptron, what we are doing here, W111 is multiplied by x1 plus W121 is multiplied by x2, W131, the weight at this link, with this link will be W131, that is multiplied by x3, so on. We, to avoid confusion, we have not written the bias term also, W0 has to be written. So for avoiding the confusion, we have not written the W0 also, we have to add the W0 also. Okay, so we have to give weights in this layer. Here how many weights we will get? Total 12 weights will be having. So W111, for this we are having, for this perceptron we are having 4 weights, for this perceptron we are having 4 weights, for this perceptron we are having 4 weights. Total how many weights will be here? 12 weights will be here, and the activation function is given as F11. The value which we got by multiplying W111 with x1 plus W211 W121 plus x2, the summation value, that is given as input to this function, activation function. The output, after giving it to the input to the activation function, the output which we got is O11. This O11 is given as input to the next layer perceptrons, that is given to this perceptron and this perceptron. Like that we will get output here. This is given as input to this perceptron and this perceptron. Like this we will get output here. This is given as input to this perceptron and this perceptron. This is how multi-layered network works, and the O11 will multiplied with W211. Here also we have to assign weights to all the links. So W211 is multiplied by O11. Here the weight here is multiplied by O11. Like that all the weights are multiplied, and the summation value is given as input to the F21. This is the activation function. The output after giving input to the F21, we got it as O21. This is given as input to the next layer. So here we are having only one perceptron. So again we have to give weights. Weights are multiplied with this output, and summation of this value is given as input to this to the function, activation function F31, and the final output which we got here, we call it as y hat, O31, we call it as y hat, means predicted value. This is what the feed forwarding, whenever you take the first data point, take it as input, give it as input, and all these calculations are done, the output will be y hat. After that we will apply loss function. Loss function L is equal to y minus y hat whole square. So that is what we are calculating here, feed forwarding, input, feed forwarding. Once based on the loss, we have to adjust all the weights. That is what back propagation is. The same way we have done in single perceptron, in the same way we have to do it for multi-layer perceptron. See total how many weights we have to adjust, we have to update. Here we are having 2 weights, here we are having 6 weights, here we are having 12 weights. Total all the weights should be updated. Means we will apply stochastic gradient descent. Take the first data point, feed forward, means give it as input, we will get the predicted value. Based on the loss, adjust all the weights, adjust all the weights. So the equation will be W111 new is equal to W111 old minus alpha into dou L by dou W dash 11. Like that how many weights we have to update? All the weights, total 12 plus 6 plus 2, so 18, 20 weights has to be updated for each and every data point. That is what we are doing it in a back propagation. That is how we will update our weights. So what's the use of this activation functions? We will discuss in our next classes. Because of this activation functions, our neural network is very popular. Why it is popular? Why it is identifying complex data patterns? That point we will understand when we discuss about activation functions in our next classes. So these activation functions are providing a non-linearity in the network. How it is providing non-linearity, that point we have to understand with an example in our next classes. So this is how we will do back propagation and adjust all the weights. And the important point we have to understand here is how to calculate dou L by dou W111, how to calculate dou L by dou W211. That is the important point we have to understand here. See here, when we are discussing about dou L by dou W311, so loss function depends on O31. Y hat means O31 value. So loss function depends on O31. O31 depends on this one. So that's why the dou L by chain rule, in our last class we discussed, when we discussed about single perceptron back propagation, chain rule will be applied. So the how we calculate dou L, dou O31, dou O31 depends on dou W311. This is how we apply back propagation. Chain rule will be applied to calculate the, with respect to W311, how our loss function is depending, how our loss function is changing. That is the value we are calculating here in the dou L by dou 311. The same way, next one, if you want to calculate W211 with respect to, see, loss with respect to W211. W211, this output O21 depends on this line, this value, and O31 depends on these values. So O21, so loss depends on O31, L is equal to Y minus Y hat. So the differentiation value is dou L by dou O31, dou O31 by dou O21, dou O21 by dou W211. The same way, the next one is very important to understand. The same way, if you want to calculate how the loss is changing with respect to W111, see here, check here, W111, O11 dependent on these values, W111 and X1. The same way, O11 is given as input to this perceptron and this perceptron. See here, O11 is given input to this and this perceptron. So O21 depends on O11, O22 depends on O11, and O31 depends on O21 and O22. So we have to calculate back propagation to how our loss is affecting based on W111. So we have to calculate all this path. How we calculate it? So change in dou L with respect to dou O31, dou O31 with respect to dou O21, dou O21 with respect to dou O1, dou O1 with respect to W111. The same way, dou L with respect to dou O31, dou O31 with respect to dou O22, dou O22 with respect to dou O111, and dou 11 with respect to dou W-11. This is how we calculate. We have to do summation of these four is summation with these four values. So if you take common dou L, dou O31, that is what we are doing here. If you take common, the equation will be like this: dou L, dou O31 common, take the summation dou O31 with respect to O21, O21 with respect to O11, O11 with respect to W-11 plus O31 with respect to O22, O22 with respect to O11, O11 with respect to W-11. This is how we calculate the differentiation value in the back propagation with respect to different paths. So how many different paths are getting affected, that is very important when you are calculating the loss with respect to W111. So this is all about how to calculate, how to identify the back propagation method, in how to update the weights in our back propagation method, how to train our multi-layered neural network. Hope you understand the concept. If you have any questions regarding the concept, please post your questions in the comment section below. Thanks for watching. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, please subscribe to our channel and press bell icon for the latest updates. Thank you.